30 years ago, this city endured the Big Dig. Today we begin something even bolder, the Big Fix. Thank you, Mayor. Tonight's proposal includes a new downtown connector loop, 2 new downtown stations, quadding out the Green Line, 3 extensions to the suburbs, and fixing everything we forgot in the first 5 episodes. How does this help my morning commute? We are pretending this is gonna do anything helpful. The Big Dig lasted 15 years. I don't have 15 years. No commuter rail this episode. I should note that this project won't be completed until 2045. 1 year or you're out. The people are angry. Last episode we doubled ridership and increased frequency across all of our lines, but now downtown is packed. So this episode, we're going to be fixing downtown as well as preparing it for commuter rail. Welcome back to episode 6 of Subway Builder Boston. We have a lot of new viewers, so quickly we're going to recap what we've done to catch people up to speed. We have operated our system with some influence from Boston's in real life system, using the same colored lines for specific directions. But what makes ours different is all of our lines are grade separated and heavy metro. We have 6 lines that extend into Greater Boston. We have our pink line, which connects all those stops outside the city to each other. We have our crimson line, which is a light metro and connects all of the major colleges in Boston. Our current ridership is 180K. Our red line is our most used, and our government center station is our biggest, followed by Harvard at second. We also like to do something fun, where we name all of our stations based on their real-life counterpart or nearby landmarks. So now we're just going to make some quick fixes from last episode. First, we're going to change this Breed Street to Orient Heights. We're going to change our UMass Boston dorms to Harbor Point. We're going to change Dorchester Columbia just to Columbia. And the last fix is I'm going to add in, we hit 180,000 riders. So according to our federal grant tracker, we should be adding 10 billion for today's episode. I think that's a little much. I don't think we're going to need that much right now. So I'm just going to add in half of that. As well as there was a comment last episode saying with our new red line, I was missing the station grouping. And actually I want to show you guys that bring this up. So when you zoom out, it shows you your station groups. Like it will be the bigger names, I would say. And then if you click on them, it will say both stations. So it doesn't have to be perfectly aligned. Like this Nubian over here isn't perfectly aligned, but it will still count as a station group. So I checked everything. I believe all of them are good to go. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make a light metro loop around downtown. When I look at the demand stats, we're missing a lot of connections in Seaport. They don't really necessarily, as you click on, for example, this one, they're not coming from downtown, but this will allow them to make connections all around the city, because right now most of them are just driving. And as well as if you click on workers, there's a large workforce down here. We're gonna get started and we're just gonna build from the north end. So we're gonna have a stop at Design Center, which is right here, and that's because there are a lot of workers. When I click on the demand stat for workers, there are a lot. And there are a lot over here, as well as over here on our orange line. So I'm hoping that, let's say this group, these 2 bubbles will take the orange line, up to here to this our Tufts light metro stop, and then they'll hop on, and then they can head over to the Design Center. But before we build the Design Center stop, we're gonna connect these stops real quick. So that's gonna be our loop for now. There's this turn, which I could drop it down, or we could just bulldoze this stop, or this building, sorry. But I think that will be all right. So we're gonna build this. And then next we're gonna have our design center stop, I think right here. That way we can drop it down pretty significantly and then come under here and meet up at Telegraph Hill. And as well as we're gonna build our station right along parallel. And I'm gonna hope this works, and it does. Let's just connect up these stops. And my idea would be, this would always run its, its normal loop. And we're gonna have a clockwise and a counterclockwise line. And then we'll have the extension also have a clockwise and a counterclockwise line. I think that should work. And then this Telegraph Hill, we're gonna have a stop right here. And let's see if we just connect. Nice. So it's not the prettiest thing. Maybe I could work on cleaning it up a bit. But now we have an extension to South Boston. And I think South Boston's covered pretty well now. And then we could even add, maybe some stops. We could change this, add maybe a stop over here, a stop like way south Boston. But for now, that's good. And now let's go through, and I'm gonna name all the stations. Let me pop in real quick. We're gonna call this Commons North for now. If you have a better name, let me know. It's kind of the start of Back Bay 2 right here, so let me know if you have a better name, but we'll leave that for now. Okay, we have all of our station name. That was about $1 billion. I think well spent. Yeah, like I said, if you guys have names for this one or this one, just leave them in the comments and we'll get to that next episode. So now I'm gonna make our new route, and this is gonna be, because this is inspired by the Silver Line, this is gonna be our Silver Line. And because we have to run 2 loops, the clockwise, the counterclockwise, and then we're gonna have an extension clockwise and counterclockwise, I'm gonna go with the naming of SL for Silver Line, and then we're gonna use our square. And then we're also gonna have our SL2, and that's just gonna be to let me know that it's clockwise, and we're gonna make this change with the pink line as well. And I just realized something, that I made a mistake because I'm supposed to hit light metro right here. So yeah, so we're gonna have our Silver Line, and then we're gonna just call it SL2. And then we're gonna have our SLX, which is our extension to South Boston, and then our SLX2. And that's just so I know the clockwise motion. I think we're gonna delete off the LM, and the box is just gonna signify if it's a light metro route. Because for our commuter, I think I'm gonna use triangle to differentiate it. The only annoying thing is the triangle cuts off the letters, but I think I'm gonna use 1 letter names for all the routes that are commuter rail. Oops, go back. So I'm gonna put the routes in, and then I'll come back. Okay, we have all of our routes in. Now let's add some trains. So for the Silver Line, I'm thinking just one train. Because I want our extension to have more traffic than our Silver Line. Than this Silver Line. So we're going to have to buy some cars. I think we're going to have to buy 12. Yeah, we're going to buy 12 for now. I think that should be good. And I think, and then we're going to have this SLX have 3 lines on it. And that's just because I think South Boston is going to need to see a lot more coverage. And if this doesn't work, this idea, then we'll change it up. 1 more car. 2 more cars, I mean. And then we'll run something like this. I think that's good. And what did we run? I think we have too many, yeah. So we're gonna run something like this and see how it goes. Maybe we add 1 more on the Silver Line. But I want the main route to be the extension, which is a little different than usual. And the main part is I just want, if you're in Seaport, you don't have to go down to South Boston. If you're heading, maybe to Tufts, you know, or if you're at the convention center, you don't have to go all the way around. You can go straight downtown, wherever you're going. One idea also I had was cutting through Government Center for one of the routes. Maybe the extension, instead of running to the north end, maybe it goes to the North Station, loops around, doesn't go to Aquarium, and goes straight to Government Center. So that's an idea. So we can test that next episode. And we're gonna let the game run while we make those changes. And now we're gonna have our downtown station for Teal. We're gonna run our Teal station, or Teal into it, and then have a turnaround, and then run our orange into it. And that allows for this Government Center stop and this common stop to just be a green line, because we have all 4 of our green lines heading through. There's just so much traffic in this area because it's getting backed up all in this section, just like real life. So we're gonna have to disconnect our green line, our teal line, and our orange line, and we're gonna have to all cut them significantly back, as well as I think our red line and our blue line. So I'm gonna go ahead and basically not have any trains come through downtown right now. Okay, so I disconnected all of our routes and I started deleting some of our lines. I also deleted the aquarium stop and the bridge underneath, or the tunnel underneath the river. So we're gonna work out and then inwards. So first we're gonna drop this quad track down to -17, and this aquarium stop, and this aquarium stop is gonna have to be pretty deep as well. And the reason we're quadding up this part is we're gonna run our yellow line all the way to Harvard. So we're gonna quad all of this track from Logan all the way to Harvard, because we're gonna have our red line and our yellow line running through. So to do that, we're gonna have to build our station at -15 right here. And actually, wait, do I want another station? No, I don't need another station. Sorry. But what we are gonna do is our blue line is gonna go, let's see, we're gonna have our blue line. Actually, yes. So we're gonna have, because what do we want to do? We have our red line coming through. Okay, I see. So we're gonna have a parallel track, and this is gonna be for our blue line to be able to turn around, and we're gonna build it kind of like a little offset, and then we're gonna run this middle line connecting back up with our red line, and then we're gonna have some flyovers. So to make this easy, let's have it come right here. Let's see, because this is gonna have to go. Okay, this is gonna have kind of a weird loop, but don't hate me. So that's gonna be, let's continue deleting tracks. It will make this a lot easier. Kind of fix some of the stuff we did originally. So it's complicated, but this will allow a turnaround for our blue and our yellow line to go straight through. We might have to change up something right here, but it's ugly, but I think it will work pretty well. And then we might have to change this to quad. We'll see about our traffic. It's more just this station. So we'll see if that's an issue later on, like right here, this junction, but I think it should be fine. And then that way we can have a turnaround right here, which we're gonna add our crossover right after our station. Oh, and I didn't build the station, I just realized. So let's build that station parallel, I think at -15, correct? Yeah. And we can just make it the full length, and then we'll add our crossover right here. And I just need to remember these elevations for our next station. Yeah, because this is gonna be at 15, so we're gonna have to drop. We're also gonna have our heavy rail or our commuter rail station right here, and then we're gonna have it come here, kind of loop underneath all of this, and it's gonna have to be pretty deep. We'll see. We'll worry about it when we get there. So we're gonna build that, and that way we can run our red line through and our green line. So let me reconnect all these stops up. Okay, while I was connecting up, I realized this flyover doesn't work either. So let me fix this up real quick. Okay, I don't want to do this, but I think the only way to do this properly is back it up at -11 Maverick, which will be fine. It won't affect any of our ridership because it's basically the same area. It is just going to cost us a bit of money. And then that way we can have a proper flyover. And that will work perfectly. So it is costly. It is going to cost us 300 million, but I don't think it would be that big of an issue in real life to kind of reconfigure this. So that should be working now. And then that way our yellow line can run on the outside rails. So let's connect up our yellow line. And hopefully this turnaround right here, this crossovers aren't an issue, because if this crossover is an issue, then we'll have to convert this Harvard to a quad station. That way it can turn around without any interference. So we have our red line going through. Now we have our yellow. So now let's connect up our blue. And now because we are sending the yellow all the way to Harvard, we are gonna have a stop at Aquarium. Because we're gonna have to add more trains onto this anyway. We're not gonna worry about adding trains on until the end of the episode, and then we're gonna see what our ridership's at. So now next, we're gonna work on our downtown station for our teal, and I know that this is gonna be very finicky, so hold on with me. So first, we're gonna delete this Tufts Medical right here, and we're gonna back this up, and we're gonna worry about this junction and all this quad later, because I know that this track right here is bugged. As you see, when I hover over a track, it's orange, but when I hover over this, there's nothing showing up for this whole stretch. So I'm gonna have to go into the game files and I believe delete this section of track by looking up the coordinates on Google. That was one solution I saw. If not, we're just gonna have to come up with something, either another rail connecting up. I really just want to run a quad rail, so we'll see when we get there. But now we're gonna build our tough station. So let's build the station right here. Perfect. And then we're gonna connect up the track and see if we have any issues. And we don't. And then here we're gonna have to delete all of this quad track. So the movements I need are for green line A and D to go to the north end and B and C to go to North Station. So these tracks are both at 11. This station I believe is at -11, yes. So when I was testing this, I was having a lot of issues. So we're gonna see if first try we can get this. Okay, that was a lot quicker, and I'm glad I tested that. That works a lot nicer. So now I don't think we need any crossovers. Let's see, we have that crossover. I think that should be fine. So let's build, and then let's connect up our stops. So our orange line, let me do this real quick. Okay, so now we have our teal coming in to downtown, we have our blue coming in downtown, and our orange and our red line all connected up. That looks pretty nice. I mean, there's some bad turns, like this turn right here, maybe I could work on. I think the only solution would be have it come out and then kind of curve around here. But if we go to building foundation depth, okay, so it's just this building and this building we'd have to worry for. Yeah, because this, okay. I don't know, we'll mess around later with that. Okay, now we're gonna have to connect in our green line. And to do that, first, I'm just gonna delete our tight turn right here. We won't need this anymore. We will need a tight turn, but not these single tracks. And then we're gonna delete these tracks. And we're also gonna delete our library station. And then we're gonna have to delete some of these tracks back here. And see how it won't let me delete that? So I'm gonna just first delete, let's disconnect our, what is this, green line A? What did I leave on? It should tell me. Green line A. So let's disconnect the stations from going here. And they are. Okay, so that one's stopping there. Oop. Confirm. What about our B? What station's going? Okay, it's our B line. So we can just bring that back and it will stop at Agonis. And I think that should be good. Okay, so we're gonna have to delete our Fenway stop. Okay, let's let the tracks clear. And actually, let me go into the files and delete this track real quick. I think first, can I delete this? I think it'd be actually helpful. Let me delete Boylston and then I'll delete Fenway. That way I'm not deleting anything by accident. We can delete that crossover and you can see that this track is just bugged. Okay, I went through the game files and I couldn't figure it out. I did find this piece of track, but when I deleted it, it would still stay. And I'm having a lot of issues with the game kind of glitching through it. So just so we don't have any issues, we're just gonna make this station at -13, our Boylston, and then our library station, we're just gonna have kind of running directly underneath. Okay, so we're just gonna have, until they fix this, we're gonna have our tracks run just parallel. And honestly, it's not that big of a deal because we're running at a deeper depth, as long as none of these buildings, yeah. So it'll just be kind of the phantom track right there. Yeah, it is gonna affect this flyover, I think, but we'll deal with it when we get there. So now we can just run our tracks, and let's just build to here, and then we'll have kind of a nicer curve like that. And I think the issue is because I have quad rails versus a parallel, and that's why it really doesn't want us building right there. Very interesting issue. So we're gonna bring this back, and then we'll have this, I know needs to be dropped down anyway. In the first episode, we put it at 5, but to save us some headache, let's just connect it up like that. And then I think because we only have 2 lines on this can be a parallel, and we'll have our flyover going this way to save us some heartache. And let's delete this line, and we'll run our parallel right here. And we're gonna actually, because we're doing a flyover, let's see, let's move this station back a little to make this turn a little more manageable. So we're gonna have it come right here, our Fenway station, connect that back up. And then for this flyover, let's see what it needs, because it's gonna have to go at negative 15 to do this properly. Okay, so it's gonna have to go out to here for this other track. So probably like right here to the building, and then we'll switch over to parallel at 11, and we're gonna bring it right here. So yeah, going forward, maybe this has to be quad all the way to what, Agonis Arena, but I think it's all right for now. And then this is going to be an issue connecting our what is a C line, our D line into it. So let's just bring this, and we're going to say at a -5 till we get close, maybe right there. And then let's see, we want our D line heading into the north end, which is in our outer tracks. So that helps a bit. So there's going to be some issues just right here, but because that is our A line, I think we'll be all right. We're not going to have too much capacity right here. So I don't think we need to add any crossovers because we have a crossover at the end stations. Yeah. So we're going to build, and now let's reconnect up all of our lines. So to test this, let's just connect in right here, and let's see the path it's taking. Okay, it's staying on the outside, which is perfect. And we're having a little issues here with now 4 stations. It's much like the real life kind of quad, except for we reduced it just to government center. I personally like it a bit more. I think it looks nice, and we have that big station group. We are gonna have to rename all these stations since I deleted most of them. We'll do that later. You guys appreciate me naming the stations, so thank you. I think it makes it more interactive too, especially if you're from Boston. And if you're not from Boston, you learn a little bit about the land, about the area. Okay, so our green line A is good, and our trains are good there. And we're gonna have to adjust all of our trains, I know. So now our B is gonna come into here, and it's on the outside, correct? Yes. And we only need 1 stop. No valid path. Okay, so let's work backwards. They need to stay on the inside, actually. And then it's gonna have an issue here. Interesting. See how they're going? Well, let's see, where are they going? They're coming from here. And did I forget? No. Okay, so they're coming from here. They're going outside. So that means if we work backwards that we need to move our B line inside, which it should be. No, because it comes, okay, so right here at Boylston, we'll transition our B line from the outside rails inside. I think that makes sense. So I think this is at 13, because there's a lot of issues sometimes if, yeah, see how it's, okay, so maybe at 12, is that gonna give us issues? What, 14? We might have to rebuild this section of track. Perfect. And now let's test with our B line moving inside. And we know that it's on the outside here. Okay, perfect. It works. A lot of flyovers and mismatch, but I think that's what makes this build interesting, is the challenges. So let's connect all this up, and I'll connect up all the green lines, make sure they're good, and get back to you guys. And done. All of our green line connected up. If you guys need any explanation of kind of what I'm doing here, let me know next episode. I hope I explained it well. So all of our green lines connected up. We're gonna have, and let's start running the game because all of our stations are connected too. All of our routes, and just see how it's working out. And we're at midnight now, so we're only gonna see our low usage trains, and we're still getting warnings at night, which is interesting. I have realized something, like our frequencies are at a good spot right now that if we're hitting capacity, we might consider adding another train car, depending on what time. Like for our orange line, it's our most frequent with 6 minute. We could drop that down actually. Let's do 7 and see how that works. And let's see so we spent, how much did we spend today? We started at 10 billion, we spent 5 billion. And I do have some extensions I want to do to finish out the episode. And let's let the game run in the background. And the first one, we are going to extend red next episode, I think. Because I want to do some more research into this area before we do that. As well as I think there's going to have to be a connection between Forest Hills and Ashmont. Something like the Mattapan line, which I don't know if, is that down here or is that up here? But something connecting these two lines I think makes sense, because these are going to be two commuter rail, I think stations. I'm not sure. I don't know if I want my commuter rail for this south on the outside, kind of like it is now in real life. And our teal's at capacity, but it's not over capacity. So that's one thing to watch out for. And when we zoom in, look at that. That's pretty cool. I like seeing all the shortened letters, shortened names. I think it looks a lot nicer. Yeah, so we'll let this run. And I wanted to redo this stop. So actually we are gonna have to disconnect our red line from Alewife. And the reason is because I don't want it turning like that. I am gonna leave this station though, and just add a station. So we don't have to waste any money here. And we're just gonna delete this part. And we'll leave this track too. And we're gonna bring this track back a little bit. I think right there is fine. And we're gonna have our station follow a similar route, and this is the town of Arlington, or city of Arlington right here. So we're gonna have a station right there, and in order to do that, we're gonna need our station at negative, I think 5, or this is what is this? This is at -5, so we're gonna have a -9. Oop, and we're having issues. And then we'll have our station come right underneath. Okay, we're actually gonna have to just do -11. And why are we having, okay. Sometimes the escape button doesn't work. Okay, so we're gonna have our station right there, and we'll connect that up. And then this is gonna run into Arlington, and we're gonna have, I think, just a station right here and a station right here. And you can kind of see the real train line. So let's first build our station right here at -5, and this is just going to be like downtown Arlington or central Arlington. And then I believe there's enough demand, yeah, like right here. And I think this is Arlington Heights. And that's going to be our last station for the red line over here. It does make our red line by far our longest. So I think in the future, I will consider just having this as like an extension line. Something like that. So yeah, our other station is going to be right here. And we're just going to follow the original train path. So this is going to be Arlington, Central Arlington, maybe just Arlington. And then we're going to have Arlington Heights right here. Arlington Heights. My keyboard's not too loud. Okay. And now let's bring in our red line all the way up here. And we'll have 2 stops here. And I think this will be a big station once we get some commuter rail going. What's interesting about the map is when I zoom out, and I go to demand stats, there is a bit of demand over here to collect, especially in this area. I think this is Waltham. I don't want to extend the green line, I don't think any further. So I think our commuter rail will come down and maybe a station right here, and then definitely a station in this kind of circle right here. Probably just downtown. This is the original station. So we'll probably follow this path, and then connect up right here. You can see the original train line. I wanted to have our blue line, because it ends downtown, it's not too long. I think we can get away with extending it. This is the town of Lynn, or city of Lynn, and I think this is Nahant,
seawall all the way from Nahant all the way,
something like that. This is the town of Lynn, and there is a bit, this is Beverly and this is Salem. I know I'm gonna have commuter rail go all the way to the top of this, and I think because there's so many residents over here, I think we're just gonna send our blue line up. And the only reason I'm doing that is because it only goes downtown and it doesn't extend further on. So we're gonna follow the original path, and we're just gonna have 2 stations in Lynn. We're gonna have one. We might just have one, because I know commuter rail is gonna head up here. So we're gonna have kind of a duplicate coverage. So I think we'll just have 1 station right here. There's this looks the most dense. I think this is where the actual station is. I think that's what this is. Yeah. So let's build our station, and this is gonna be, we'll run it above ground, but in town it will be a subway. And I think we're just gonna run it down this street. We're gonna have a lot of issues. Okay, so we're gonna be fine. We're not gonna be perfect, and we're just gonna demolish these 2 buildings. And that way we can run it as a subway, or at -5, and save some money. Okay, perfect. Let's build that, or let's build a crossover. And we're gonna have to add some trains onto our blue line. I know that because our frequency is gonna get a lot worse right now. So let's see what it is at once it updates. I think it should or I have to put the stops in, of course, and then we'll see what it's at. Because this is a big stretch of, like there's no stations here. I guess there could be a station down here. I just don't think it's necessary. We could say maybe next episode we actually just instead bring it down over here. I don't think this group needs a station. I think I want to run a light metro maybe down here and around the town, because there is a bit of density in this area. So maybe we'll have a light metro kind of serve the north area. We can brainstorm. We'll worry about that later. And what does that, yeah, that increases our frequency a bit. So we're gonna run, I think 5, maybe, and we'll have 2 low, maybe 6. And we'll see if that's too much. We'll see about that. And let's let the game run. That's the last thing I wanted to do today, I think. Or actually, no, there's one more. I wanted to run our C line just a little bit further before we end that for our last stop. And I wanted to run it right here. And the reason is because when I click on Harvard, I want to see where there's some workers up here, which some of this will be Arlington, but then some of this will be kind of this, I think, North Medford. And then as you can see, there's some bubbles over here. So maybe I should extend the, we'll wait. We're going to extend the college commuter line, I think, to Malden Center next episode. And then even maybe branching to the teal line. So let's just build one more station on this green line, connecting right here. I guess we'll call it North Medford. If you have a different name, let me know. I think it's West Medford, maybe in real life, the kind of area. And let's connect that up. And this could be at grade, but I don't worry too much because we're gonna have to keep dipping it under those. And let's add our crossover. And I think this will be a commuter rail line too in the future. I don't know any of these towns. I haven't done any research into this area because as you can see, the map extends pretty far north and south. East, we're covered pretty well, but south, we can head all the way down here and still get a bit of density. And I like to see all this blue showing up. That's awesome. So let's build our last station for today. Let's name this. And I know, actually, interestingly, if I go to demand stats and I go to workers, there's some workers over here, which is interesting. I don't know what this is. What's in here? I guess it's this. It's this building, whatever this building is, has a bit of workers. And let's extend our green line C. So now we have all of our routes. We haven't looked, we've gone all episode, we haven't looked at the performance of our silver line. And we haven't even ran a full day yet. So let me save real quick, episode 6, and let this run and just kind of evaluate the performance. And I forgot one big thing, which is all right, we'll let this run in the background, was building our commuter rail stations. So we're gonna wait till next episode actually to do that. And my plan would be basically have a quad station right here and another quad station at North Station. And then connecting, I'll kind of draw it out real quick. Don't worry about all the red lines. And it's gonna come kind of through all these buildings and dip down. So we'll worry about that next episode. So let's just end this episode evaluating the ridership. All the trains coming through. Our CC's at capacity, and I've been seeing this at Agonis Arenas a lot. So we'll have to see that. And our new Silver Line extension's already at capacity at North Station. That's interesting. So let's just see. Our Blue Line's at capacity in Revere. So the fact that it's in capacity all the way up here is telling me that it's filling up all the way back here. And once it gets here, it's too full. But you can see the train right behind it is empty. So we'll wait on that and just kind of see. Because if the trains right behind it are empty, then that just, you know, one train's full, one train's not. Okay, Telegraph Hill is full, this SLX. So let's just increase frequency a little bit. We'll have 4 run. We've got to buy more. So let's buy 6. We'll have 4 run on the X, and then we'll have 4 run on the X2. Okay, our red line at Central is full, is over capacity. So let's add that in. Let's add some trains there. And I forgot that we extended it. Yeah, so we're gonna have to buy some more. Let's buy, and we'll just have extra. Let's send 10, honestly. I don't have to buy more. Let's send 10, just because this is such a long route. So this in the orange line, and we have so much ridership on this line anyway. And we'll see, okay, that's helping out a little bit. Okay, our system's just going crazy. Okay, so let's just keep working at, and let's add, to help this SLX line, Let's add some trains on our SL. And that should help out a little bit. And these we could always run as a double if we need to. Our blue line keeps getting filled at Revere. So we're gonna have to add some trains to this, or we can add, ooh, that'd be interesting. Just extending. Let's evaluate the blue just real quick. Okay, wait. We're having so many issues. So let's first just our blue line. Because we have pretty low frequency already, we're gonna have these as a 10. Is that gonna work? I don't know why it's not updating. We'll have those at as a double car. And then also maybe our red line we run as a double car. Maybe. Because we're already at 10-minute frequencies. We're at 10. I'm just worried about the traffic at this point. Because if we keep getting at capacity North Station, let's let the game continue running. We haven't even hit 9 a.m. yet. And let's look at our ridership. I'm sure it's gonna be 185. So like this train's full, but this train's empty. So there's just some bunching that's going on that I'm sure will get fixed soon. Especially because this has its own station, so that should be fine. Okay, our orange line's at capacity. So maybe, what's our orange line frequency at? It's at 7. So maybe we just double these as well. Running 10 cars. I'm gonna need a bit of, I'm gonna just spend our money. I don't mind too much. Because we're hitting our targets. Our SLX is at capacity. Okay, so we're just gonna keep adding trains onto the SLX. And maybe our frequencies are so low already, we'll just double the size of them, of both extensions, and keep the other one a little bit smaller. Okay, and buy more cars. Just keep buying. Okay, because our frequencies are so low that this should help out. And maybe, and our CC is just full too. Jeez. 7-minute frequencies aren't good enough, and we have double trains. So let's increase frequency here, and then we'll add. Okay, that should help a little bit. That extra car. Every 5 minutes, pretty good frequency. Okay. See, the only issue is sometimes we'll say at capacity and it's half full, but then, these are over capacity. Let's let the game run a little bit. We spent a lot of money on trains and see if that helps out any. And let's zoom out, and that looks pretty nice. I think we did a lot of work today. Let's close it out. Let's look at our demand stats, and we're gonna simulate the rest of the day to see our max usage. We are having some signal blockage, and if I were to guess, oh, it's right here because our yellow is turning around. I think maybe there's some issue right here. Okay, maybe it will sort itself out. I think it's because our yellow line is running here and our red line is at capacity. Wow. Okay, maybe we'll fix that next episode. My only solution would just be turning all of these stations into quad stations and then adding another parallel station for the yellow line right here, and as well as right here, so it can have a turnaround. Yeah, we might have to do that, just like what we did with green. That makes sense though. There's so much usage here. That's gonna be a wrap for today's video. If you did enjoy it, hit subscribe. If you have any ideas, suggestions, or complaints, leave them in the comments. Any feedback is good feedback for me to make the best videos I can. I hope you guys all have a great day, and bye-bye.